The coffee mug shatters against the break room floor. "Watch where you're going, Grandma." Lieutenant Peterson doesn't even look up from his phone. His SEAL team sprawls across the ER break room like they own it. Boots on tables, gear bags blocking walkways. Ellen Reeves kneels slowly. 50 years old next month. Her knees protest, but she gathers each ceramic piece with the patience of someone who's picked up worse things. Much worse. "Maybe time to retire?" Chief Santos grins, flexing while checking his reflection in the microwave door. "Leave the night shifts to people who can handle them." 10 staff members pretend not to watch. The charge nurse starts to speak, then stops. Everyone knows SEALs get special treatment during their rotation through base medical. Ellen's breathing stays even. 4 counts in, hold 4, release 4, hold 4. The rhythm that kept her alive through 17-hour Overwatch positions when these boys were learning multiplication tables. "I'll manage." She drops the broken pieces in the trash. Her fingers unconsciously trace a small circle on the counter, the exact motion of adjusting windage on a Leopold scope. Peterson finally looks up. "You were Army or something, right? Motor pool? Supply?" "Something like that." His team laughs. One takes a photo of her on her knees, already typing a caption. They have no idea who just cleaned up their mess. In 3 hours, they'll wish they'd helped. The base hospital emergency room runs on military precision, even at 2300 hours. Ellen returns to Trauma Bay 12, reorganizing supplies with movements so automatic her hands work without conscious thought. Gauze pads exactly 4 inches apart, IV bags hanging at regulation height, 18 inches from bed rail to bottom of bag. Labels facing forward, always forward. "Hey, Nurse Ratched," Petty Officer 2nd Class Williams leans against her supply cart. "We need our clearances done, now." "Triage protocol, Petty Officer. The contractor with burns gets treatment first." "He can wait. We deploy in 72 hours. Ellen doesn't look up from the IV she's preparing. "Burns don't wait. You can." Williams kicks the cart. Supplies scatter across the sterile floor. "Oops, better clean that up, Grandma. Wouldn't want a safety violation on your record." She kneels again. Second time tonight, her missing ring finger twitches, phantom pain from Kandahar that never quite fades. As she gathers supplies, her body maintains that same breathing pattern, 4444. The rhythm that once helped her hold scope picture for 43 hours straight in Helmand Province. Master Sergeant Roy Thompson appears with a mop bucket. 68 years old, skin dark as midnight, hands that remember Vietnam. He watches Ellen sort medications without reading labels, organizing by interaction risk, dosage concentration, administration route. "Haven't seen anyone sort meds like that since Chu Lai," he says quietly. Ellen just nods, continues working. Thompson's eyes narrow slightly. He's seen that kind of mechanical precision before, in people who've lived where one mistake meant multiple casualties. The SEALs have commandeered the break room television, streaming their Instagram stories. Peterson posts video of Ellen struggling with the crash cart. Caption reads, "Base hospital night shift, Eagles retirement home. This is your military medical care, America." Comments flood in within seconds. Laughing emojis, suggestions she try desk duty. Someone writes that she moves like their grandmother after hip surgery. Ellen sees it on the monitor during her break. Takes a sip of black coffee from a paper cup. She won't risk another mug tonight. Her eyes scan the comments with the same detachment she once used to scan ridgelines. No emotion, just data collection. Dr. Sarah Kim, the attending physician, stops beside her. "You could file a complaint." "No point, ma'am. They're making your shift miserable." Ellen sets down her coffee. Her fingers unconsciously trace calculations on the table. Wind speed, bullet drop, target distance, old habits. "I've had worse shifts." At 0100 hours, a drunk Marine stumbles through the ER doors, swinging at security. 6'4", probably 240 pounds, rage and alcohol making him dangerous. Security calls for backup. Ellen steps behind his peripheral vision. The SEALs watch, expecting disaster. She touches a specific point behind his ear, not a nerve cluster taught in any nursing manual, but something learned in places where combat medicine meant controlling combatants quickly. The Marine drops, unconscious in 2 seconds. "Lucky nerve pinch," Peterson says, but his voice carries doubt now. Thompson whispers to an orderly, "That's forced recon takedown technique. Haven't seen it since '68. Ellen checks the Marine's vitals. Steady. He'll wake in 10 minutes with a headache and no memory of the technique that dropped him. She learned it from a recon instructor who said it might save her life one day. It had. 3 times. Santos sprawls in Trauma Bay 8, demanding Ellen change his bandages. Slowly this time, so I can see if you're doing it right. She unwraps the gauze with deliberate care. Under the harsh surgical lights, her hands reveal stories. Faint powder burns across both palms, the kind that come from thousands of hours gripping rifle stocks. A surgical scar along her left thumb that looks suspiciously like shrapnel removal. What happened to your finger? Santos points at her missing ring finger. Workplace accident. What? Got it caught in a filing cabinet? Ellen says nothing. The truth, an IED that killed her spotter and took her finger along with half her hearing in the left ear, isn't his business. Rodriguez died screaming her name while she tried to hold pressure on wounds that wouldn't stop bleeding. Sometimes she still hears him in the quiet moments between heartbeats. Her phone buzzes, a video message from her daughter at Bagram Air Base. She steps into the supply closet to watch. Mom, stay strong. I know nights are hard without Dad. Lighting a candle at the chapel for you both. Love you. Ellen touches the screen gently. Her daughter doesn't know the full truth, that Dad died in a classified operation Ellen was overseeing, that she watched through scope glass as insurgents overran his position, that she dropped 17 targets trying to save him, but couldn't shoot fast enough. The closet door bangs open. Peterson stands there with his phone raised. Caught you hiding. What, need a cry break? She pushes past him without comment. He doesn't see the calculation in her eyes. Distance, angle, pressure points, 3 ways to incapacitate him without leaving marks. All reflexive, all suppressed. By 0200 hours, the SEALs have created a WhatsApp group called ER Grandma Watch. They share photos of Ellen struggling with equipment, moving slowly, taking longer to complete tasks. What they don't realize is that she's moving deliberately, checking every medication 3 times, verifying every dosage, following protocols that saved lives when medical supplies were contaminated in forward operating bases. Santos stages his masterpiece at 0230. As Ellen pushes her medication cart past, he extends his foot. The cart tips. Pills scatter across the floor like rainbow confetti. Oops. Better call housekeeping. Florence Nightingale. Ellen kneels. 3rd time tonight. Begins gathering medications. Thompson appears again, helping her sort. He watches her separate them by interaction, risk without hesitation. Knows which beta blockers conflict with which blood thinners, which antibiotics reduce effectiveness of others. Where'd you serve? He asks quietly. Here and there got a name? Not anymore. Thompson nods slowly. He recognizes the sound of classified service when he hears it. Commander Rachel Ward, the hospital CO, announces a surprise medical readiness evaluation at 0300 hours. The SEALs must assist with a simulated mass casualty event. Peterson takes charge immediately. Reeves, you handle inventory. We'll manage trauma. Yes, sir. Ellen's voice remains neutral. She learned long ago that arguing with young officers rarely changes outcomes. Better to be ready when they fail. Santos corners her during setup. Try not to slow us down, yeah? This is real military medicine, not your community college nursing degree. Ellen checks her supplies. During the inventory, she notices something wrong. Medication labels have been switched. Epinephrine where morphine should be. Morphine where antibiotics belong. Santos's work, obviously. A prank that in real combat would kill patients. The simulation timer starts before she can fix everything. The evaluator, a stern major from medical command, marks her station immediately. Failed, unprepared. Peterson's voice carries across the trauma bay. This is why civilians shouldn't work military medicine. They crack under pressure. Ellen continues switching labels back, methodically, while the simulation runs. The SEALs practice their trauma response on mannequins, high-fiving over their performance times. The evaluation ends. Ward reviews the scores publicly. SEAL team, passing marks on speed. Nurse Reeves, failed preparation standards. Maybe it's time to consider that retirement, Peterson suggests, loud enough for everyone to hear. Ellen says nothing, just continues fixing the medication labels Santos scrambled. In her peripheral vision, she catches Ward watching her, something unreadable in the commander's expression. At 0400 hours, real world interrupts simulation. The radio crackles. Base Hospital, this is Medevac 3-7. We have 8 casualties inbound from training accident. 2 critical, 3 urgent, 3 delayed. ETA 4 minutes. The trauma bay explodes into controlled chaos. Peterson immediately takes charge. Santos, your lead medical. Williams, Johnson, take bays 2 and 3. Reeves, supplies only. Stay out of the way. Ellen begins setting up trauma bays in a specific pattern. Not the standard layout, but something learned in places where seconds determined who lived. She pre-positions surgical tools based on the radio chatter about injury types. Compound fractures need external fixation equipment. Arterial bleeds need vascular clamps. I said supplies, not layout, Peterson snaps. Your medical officer is going to need... Santos has been doing this for 12 years. Stand down. Ellen steps back, watches, waits. Her breathing never changes. 4444. The helicopters arrive in a storm of rotor wash and controlled urgency. Marines on stretchers, blood already soaking through field dressings. The kind of injuries that happen when night training goes wrong. A vehicle rollover, bodies crushed between armor plating and earth. Santos takes one look at the femoral artery spray from bed 2 and freezes. That's too much blood. The patient's skin has gone gray. Ellen can read the signs from 20 feet away, maybe 3 minutes before irreversible shock, maybe less. Petty Officer Santos, Peterson prompts. Tourniquet. Santos's hands shake as he reaches for the wrong tourniquet, a narrow one meant for arms, not the wide band needed for a femoral bleed. Ellen steps forward, but Ward blocks her path. You failed the evaluation. Protocol is protocol. Commander, respectfully, that Marine is dying. Not your call, nurse. Ellen watches Santos fumble with the tourniquet, watches the blood pool spreading across the floor, counts heartbeats, 4444, the same rhythm she used while watching Taliban fighters through scope glass, waiting for the perfect shot. Another Marine codes on table 3. Peterson struggles with chest compressions, his rhythm irregular, too shallow. Push harder, Williams suggests. I know what I'm doing, but he doesn't. Ellen can see it in his form, elbows bent, pushing from shoulders instead of core, probably breaking ribs without achieving proper compression depth. Thompson appears at her shoulder. You need to do something. I've been ordered to stand down. Since when has someone like you followed orders that get people killed? Ellen looks at him sharply. Thompson's eyes hold knowledge, recognition. He knows. Somehow, he knows. The Marine on table 2 goes into shock. Santos drops the tourniquet completely, hands covered in blood, backing away. I can't. The blood, there's too much. A second Marine flatlines. The monitors scream their electronic panic. Ellen pushes past Ward. Move! Now! Her voice cuts through chaos like a rifle shot. Not the voice of a night nurse, but something else entirely. Something forged in places where command meant survival. If someone with decades of experience stays silent while being mocked, what might they know that you don't? Share your thoughts below. The trauma bay goes silent for half a heartbeat. Then Ellen takes control. Listen up. Triage zones, grid coordinates. Table 2 is priority 1. Arterial compromise, 3 minutes maximum. Johnson, take table 4. Tension pneumo, needs immediate decompression. Williams, table 6 is expectant. Make him comfortable, talk to him, hold his hand. Peterson, get off that chest. You're breaking ribs without circulation. Her voice carries absolute authority. The SEALs find themselves moving before conscious thought kicks in. Ellen slides beside Peterson, takes over compressions. Her rhythm is perfect. 30 compressions, 2 breaths, mechanical precision. She counts in what sounds like Pashto under her breath, a habit from when English became too tired to trust. Santos, wide tourniquet, high and tight, 3 inches above the wound. Now. Santos hesitates. But Marine dies in 2 minutes or you move. Choose. He moves. Ellen's hands work with surgical precision. She guides Santos through the tourniquet placement while maintaining perfect chest compressions on her patient. Her body operates on muscle memory, thousands of hours of trauma training, hundreds of real casualties, dozens of lives saved and lost in places most people can't find on maps. The challenge coin falls from her scrub pocket during compressions. It hits the floor with that distinctive sound, military metal on tile, a sound every service member knows. Peterson reaches for it automatically, the gesture ingrained from years of challenge coin traditions. His hand freezes as he reads the engraving. Marsoc Sniper School, Stone Bay. Instructor 001, Ghost 7. The serial number below is partially redacted. Classified XX7 2009. His mouth opens. No words emerge. Ellen doesn't notice. She's focused on her patient, adjusting compression depth based on chest resistance, reading skin color changes that tell her about oxygen saturation without looking at monitors. Peterson pulls out his phone with trembling fingers, opens the classified personnel database his clearance allows, scans the serial number. The screen populates slowly. Reeves, L&M. Gunnery Sergeant, retired, MOS, 0317, Scout Sniper Service, 2003-2013. Confirmed kills, 63. Specialization, Instructor, Marsoc Sniper School, Call, Sign, Ghost. 7 status, Medical Retirement, Classified Incident. A photo loads. Younger Ellen in ghillie suit, holding an M40A5 rifle, standing next to a shot grouping target with impossible accuracy. All rounds through the same hole at 1,000 yards. Santos sees the phone screen. His legs give out. He drops to his knees beside the trauma bed. Ghost 7! You're Ghost 7! The name ripples through the room. Even the injured Marines seem to recognize it. The Hellman legend. The one who's trying to save your Marines. Tourniquet. Now. Santos scrambles to comply. His hands still shake, but for different reasons now. Peterson stares at the woman he's been mocking for 3 hours. Details suddenly make sense. The breathing pattern, the way she organized supplies, how she dropped the drunk Marine, the powder burns on her hands. Ma'am, you trained me. Stone Bay, Class 2009 Alpha. Ellen doesn't look up from her patient. I know, Peterson. Your breathing still hitches on exhale. Never could break you of that. Why didn't you? Because good medics don't freeze from reputation. Santos, clamp that bleeder. Use the curved Kelly, not the straight. Commander Ward steps forward, and her expression has changed completely. No longer the stern CO, but something else. By order of Naval Special Warfare Command, evaluation complete. The room freezes except for Ellen's hands, still working, still saving lives. These SEALs failed medical crisis response assessment. Peterson's voice cracks. This was a setup? Ward pulls out a tablet, shows the screen. 3 SEAL missions in 4 months failed due to medical panic under fire. Command embedded Gunnery Sergeant Reeves to assess team crisis response. You've been watching us all night, Santos breathes. Ellen adjusts the IV drip rate. Snipers watch, we wait, we observe, then we take the shot when it matters. The missing finger, Peterson points. That was Kandahar, Operation Mountain Viper. Ellen's jaw tightens slightly. Your Master Chief Williams was in my Overwatch sector. 17 targets dropped trying to reach him. Wasn't enough. The room processes this. Williams, the legendary SEAL who died saving his team, whose memorial stood at Coronado, died under Ellen's Overwatch. You blamed yourself, Peterson says quietly. I was responsible for his sector. That's not blame, that's fact. Ellen checks her patient's pulse. Steady now, stabilized. Santos, take over compressions. 2 minutes on, 30 seconds off, rotate with Johnson. Santos takes position carefully, like he's handling something sacred. His compressions mirror Ellen's rhythm perfectly. Thompson speaks from the doorway. That's why you left. Williams. Ellen moves to the next critical patient. I left because my spotter died. Rodriguez. 6 years together. He talked about his kids while I took shots. Kept me human. She inserts an IV with practiced ease. IED got him while I was on glass. Saw everything. Couldn't do anything. The room stays silent except for medical equipment and quiet work. Ellen guides the SEALs through proper trauma procedures, her voice calm, instructional. Every correction comes with explanation. Why this angle? Why that pressure? Why this medication over that one? By 0500 hours, all 8 casualties are stabilized. What should have been 3 deaths and 2 permanent disabilities becomes 8 survivors. The SEALs work under Ellen's direction like they're back in training, eager students instead of elite operators. Ellen's trauma app alerts ping her phone, the same medical reference system that helped her track medication interactions in field hospitals where one mistake meant death. Every paramedic and nurse relies on instant pharmaceutical databases now. The young Marine whose femoral artery Ellen taught Santos to clamp opens his eyes. Who are you? Just a night nurse, Marine, Thompson adds from his position by the door. One who put 37 Taliban down in 6 hours, protecting extract routes for first recon. That's classified, Master Sergeant. Not anymore, Gunny. Not after tonight. Ward approaches Ellen. Naval Special Warfare wants a full report. Recommendations for retraining. Santos needs trauma desensitization. Too much time between real casualties. Peterson requires breathing discipline. Affects his compression rhythm. Williams overthinks. Needs to trust muscle memory. Johnson's solid but defers too much to rank instead of medical priority. She delivers assessments like range reports. Distance, wind, adjustment required. No emotion, just data. Peterson stands before her, the challenge coin in his outstretched hand. This is yours, Master Guns. Ellen takes it, reads the engraving like she's seeing it for the first time in years. Haven't heard that call sign in a while. We dishonored ourselves tonight, and you. You acted like young operators who have been told they're invincible. Reality doesn't care about your trident. The SEALs exchange glances. The trident, the SEAL warfare insignia, means everything to them. Having someone who earned equivalent respect in the sniper community dismiss its stings. How do we fix this? Santos asks. You train. You remember that every corpsman, every medic, every nurse might be the only thing between your team and a memorial service. You respect the knowledge, not the uniform. Williams, who's been silent, speaks up. The WhatsApp group, the posts, we'll delete everything. Don't keep them. Remember them every time you want to judge someone by appearance. Ellen pulls off her gloves. I looked like an easy target. Older woman, night nurse, moving slowly. You saw what you expected to see. You were testing us from the beginning, Johnson realizes. I was doing my job. The test started the moment you decided I was beneath you. Ward interjects. SEAL Team 4's deployment is postponed pending 6 weeks additional medical crisis training. Gunnery Sergeant Reeves will oversee the curriculum. Peterson's team straightens to attention reflexively. Ellen waves them off. Save the military courtesy. You need to clean this trauma bay and apologize to the staff you've been harassing for 3 days. She turns to leave. Peterson calls after her. Ghost 7, ma'am. Why nursing? After everything you were? Ellen pauses at the doorway. Because Rodriguez had 3 kids. His oldest is a corpsman now. Every medic I train might be the one who saves her. She looks back at them. I couldn't save their father. Maybe I can help save them. The base JAG office memo sits beside discharge paperwork on the desk. Even heroes need legal guidance when classified careers end. Veterans know that transition planning starts with understanding their benefits and rights. At 0600 hours, Ellen walks to the memorial wall in the hospital lobby. It holds photos of medical personnel killed in action, including several she knew personally. She pulls the challenge coin from her pocket, places it beneath a photo of a young Latino Marine with an infectious smile. Still teaching them, Rodriguez. Peterson appears behind her, moving quietly despite his size. He was your spotter? 6 years. Could call Win better than anyone I knew. Talked constantly. About his wife, his kids, what he'd do when he got home. Kept me grounded when all I saw was crosshairs. The IED? Secondary device. First one disabled our vehicle. He got out to check for survivors. Ellen's voice remains steady, but her hand touches the glass gently. I saw the triggerman through scope. 600 meters. Had the shot lined up. Rodriguez stepped into my line of fire to help wounded. Triggerman detonated before I could reacquire. Peterson stays silent. Every operator knows the weight of these moments, decisions made in fractions of seconds that replay for lifetimes. Is that why you breathe in that pattern? 4444? Rodriguez taught me that. Said it would keep me centered when the world got too loud. Still does. The morning shift arrives, flooding the hospital with fresh energy. Several stop to stare at the SEALs standing respectfully behind Ellen at the memorial wall, a complete reversal from the night's beginning. Dr. Kim approaches. Heard there was excitement last night. 8 casualties, all stable, Ellen reports. That's not what I meant. Kim gestures to the SEALs. These gentlemen requested permission to apologize to the entire night shift at change of shift brief. Ellen raises an eyebrow at Peterson. It's the right thing to do, ma'am. At the shift brief, Peterson stands before 40 medical staff members. His team flanks him, heads slightly bowed. For the past 3 nights, we've disrespected this staff. We acted like we were better than you because we wear tridents. We were wrong. He pauses, swallows his pride visibly. Last night, Gunnery Sergeant Ellen Reeves, who we mocked for being slow, old, and civilian, saved 8 Marines. She's also Ghost 7, the sniper instructor who trained half of current Tier 1 operators. We failed to see past our own arrogance. Santos steps forward. I personally sabotaged Nurse Reeves's equipment as a prank. In combat, that would be murder. I'm requesting formal disciplinary action against myself. The room stays silent. Ellen speaks from the back. Request denied. You'll make up for it by teaching proper tourniquet application to every nurse on this floor. 1-hour sessions, 0600 for the next month. Yes, ma'am. Williams adds, we posted videos mocking Nurse Reeves on social media. They have been deleted, and we've posted corrections acknowledging our failure and her service. The staff exchanges glances. Several pull out phones to check Instagram. The new posts are there. Photos of Ellen teaching trauma response, captions explaining her real background, comment sections filling with shock from other military units. Thompson chuckles from his corner. 63 confirmed kills, and she's gentler with patients than any nurse I've known. There's a lesson there, boys. After the briefing, Ellen changes out of her scrubs in the locker room. Her phone buzzes with a message she's been expecting. MARSOC needs sniper instructors. Interested? General Hayes. She deletes it without responding. 3 similar messages this month, all deleted. That part of her life is over. Another message appears. This one makes her pause. Mom, saw the posts about you online. Dad would be so proud. Love you. Sarah. Ellen allows herself a small smile. Sarah doesn't need to know that Dad knew exactly who her mother was. It's why he married her. A Delta operator and a sniper instructor, both keeping their real jobs secret until after the wedding. He'd laugh about this night, about SEALs learning humility from a middle-aged nurse. The parking lot is empty except for her 10-year-old Honda Civic, nothing like the tactical vehicles she once commanded. As she approaches, she automatically checks underneath with a small mirror on an extensible rod. Old habits, clear. She adjusts the rearview mirror, checking the empty back seat. Another habit that will never die. Her missing finger makes gripping the steering wheel slightly awkward, but she's adapted. Humans always adapt. Peterson appears at her window. She rolls it down. Ma'am, one more thing. Make it quick, Lieutenant. I've been up for 19 hours. Stone Bay, 2009. The shot you made during our final training. 2,200 meters and 30-knot crosswind. That was you, wasn't it? Not the demonstration team? Ellen starts the engine. Get some sleep, Peterson. Santos starts teaching tourniquet application tomorrow. Don't be late. She drives away, leaving him standing in the parking lot with his confirmation. In the rearview mirror, she watches him pull out his phone, probably texting his entire training class that their legendary impossible shot was made by the nurse they just spent 3 nights mocking. The drive home takes her past the base's main gate, where young Marines stand watch. One recognizes her car. Word travels fast on military bases. He snaps to attention and renders a precise salute as she passes. She doesn't return it. She's civilian now, technically, but her left hand rises slightly off the wheel in acknowledgement. The Marine grins like he's won a prize. Her small apartment sits 5 miles from base, chosen for its sight lines and multiple exit routes. Another habit. The door has 3 locks, all different types. Windows positioned to prevent direct lines of sight from neighboring buildings. She's not paranoid, she's prepared. Inside, the walls hold no military memorabilia except one photo. Her and Rodriguez in full ghillie suits, faces painted, barely visible against Afghan terrain. Someone else took it during a mission brief. They're both laughing at something off camera. 3 weeks later, he was dead. Ellen sets her keys in the exact same spot. Muscle memory that ensures she can find them in darkness if needed. The challenge coin goes in a drawer with 17 others, each representing different units, different memories, different ghosts. Her bed is military-made, corners tight enough to bounce quarters. She lies down fully clothed, too tired to change. In 4 hours, she'll wake automatically. No alarm needed. Tonight, she has another shift. More SEALs rotating through, probably. More young operators who think combat experience makes them superior to everyone else. They'll learn. They always do. Either from someone like her or from reality. She prefers they learn from her. Reality's lessons tend to be fatal, As she drifts towards sleep, her breathing maintains that rhythm, 4444. Rodriguez's gift to her, keeping her centered when the world gets too loud or too quiet. In her dreams, she's back on Overwatch, protecting Marines who never know she exists. The perfect shot lined up, wind calculated, breathing controlled. In her dreams, she's fast enough to save them all. The alarm never goes off. Ellen's eyes open at exactly 1000 hours, internal clock more reliable than any electronic device. 4 hours of sleep, enough for someone trained to operate on less. Her phone shows 17 missed calls from the base hospital. Something's wrong. She calls back immediately. Commander Ward answers on the first ring. We need you here, now. My shift doesn't start until 2300. There's been an incident. SEAL Team 4, Peterson's team. Ellen is already pulling on her shoes. Casualties? Not yet, but there will be if you don't get here fast. The drive takes 12 minutes instead of the usual 20. Ellen parks crooked, doesn't fix it. The emergency department is in controlled chaos. Not medical chaos, but military. Naval Criminal Investigative Service vehicles outside. Security at every entrance. Ward meets her at the door. Peterson's team conducted unauthorized medical training at 0800. Used expired medications from disposal inventory to practice IV insertion. Ellen's stomach drops. Expired meds can cause anaphylactic shock, organ failure, death. I know. 3 of them are showing symptoms. Santos is the worst. She follows Ward to the trauma bay. Santos lies on a gurney, skin flushed red, breathing labored. Peterson stands by him, face pale with guilt. We were just practicing, trying to be better after last night. What medication? Ellen cuts him off, already checking Santos's vitals. Morphine, but the expiration was only... Morphine doesn't just expire, it degrades into potentially toxic compounds. When? 2 hours ago. Ellen pulls out her phone, opens the medical reference app that saved lives in Afghanistan when she had to treat wounded with expired or contaminated supplies. Cross-references symptoms with degradation compounds. Get me naloxone, activated charcoal, and prepare for dialysis. His kidneys are shutting down. Doctor. Kim arrives, reads Ellen's notes. How do you know the specific degradation pattern? Kabul, 2010, Taliban poisoned medical supplies. Had to learn which expired meds would kill versus which would just be less effective. She works on Santos while directing treatment for the other 2 affected SEALs. Peterson hovers, useless with guilt. Sir, either help or leave. Tell me what to do. Monitor his breathing. If it drops below 12 respirations per minute, alert me immediately. The next hour stretches like a held breath. Ellen manages the crisis with the same precision she once used to coordinate multiple fire teams from her sniper position. Each SEAL requires different treatment based on their reaction severity and body mass. Williams vomits into a basin, groaning. This is karma, isn't it? This is stupidity, Ellen responds, adjusting his IV. Karma would be letting you suffer. Medicine is stopping your suffering despite your stupidity. By 1300 hours, all 3 are stable. Santos will need dialysis for a week, but he'll recover. The others face minor organ stress that time will heal. NCIS Special Agent Rivera arrives to take statements. Ellen recognizes the type, former military, probably intelligence, the kind who sees everything and reveals nothing. Gunnery Sergeant Reeves, your reputation precedes you. Just Ellen now. I'm a civilian nurse. Civilians don't diagnose degraded morphine poisoning from memory. Rivera flips through his tablet. Interesting career you've had. 63 confirmed kills, dozen classified operations, then sudden medical retirement after Kandahar. Is there a question in there, Agent Rivera? Just an observation. Heroes don't usually disappear into night shift nursing, Ward interrupts. Agent Rivera, Nurse Reeves just saved 3 lives. Again. Perhaps focus on why expired medications were accessible. Rivera nods, makes notes. But his eyes stay on Ellen longer than necessary. She knows that look. Someone filing information for later use. By evening shift, word has spread across the entire base. Ghost 7 saved the SEALs who mocked her, then saved them again when their stupidity nearly killed them. The irony isn't lost on anyone. Ellen begins her regular shift at 2300, pretending nothing has changed. But everything has. Staff members who previously avoided her now seek her expertise. Corpsmen ask about field medicine. Doctors consult on trauma protocols. She preferred invisibility. It was safer. Master Sergeant Thompson finds her organizing supplies in Trauma Bay 6. Can't put the ghost back in the bottle, Gunny. I'm not trying to. Could have fooled me. Heard you turned down 3 contractor positions today. Medical training for special operations. Big money. Ellen continues working. I have a job. Night shift nursing at 1/4 the pay. Rodriguez's daughter is stationed here. She doesn't know I watch out for her. Comes in sometimes, minor injuries. I make sure she gets proper treatment. Thompson nods slowly. Corporal Maria Rodriguez. Good medic. Looks just like her father. You knew? I know lots of things, like how you've been paying her student loans anonymously, like how you got her recommended for advanced medical training. Ellen stays silent. Thompson continues. Also know that SEAL Team 6 has been asking about you, and Delta, and some 3-letter agencies that don't officially exist. Not interested? They are. Ghost 7 disappearing into civilian nursing raises questions. Some people think you know something, or saw something, or did something that required you to vanish. Ellen meets his eyes directly. I saw my spotter die. That's enough reason to leave. Thompson doesn't look convinced but drops the subject. At 0200 hours, Corporal Maria Rodriguez arrives with a training injury, dislocated shoulder, minor but painful. Ellen takes her case without revealing their connection. Heard about the SEAL incident, Maria says, while Ellen manipulates her shoulder. Everyone's talking about this Ghost 7 instructor. Focus on your breathing. This will hurt. Ellen resets the shoulder with practiced ease. Maria gasps but doesn't cry out. Tough, like her father. My dad was a spotter, Maria continues. Died in Afghanistan when I was 15. They said his sniper tried to save him. Took down 17 Taliban in 6 minutes trying to reach him. Ellen keeps her face neutral while applying the sling. Your father must have been a good Marine. The best. That's why I became a corpsman. To save people like someone tried to save him. Maria pauses. I wonder sometimes if his sniper made it home, if they blame themselves. I'm sure they do, every day. Maria looks at her sharply, something flickering in her eyes. Recognition? Question? But she doesn't pursue it. After Maria leaves, Ellen sits in the break room, exhausted not from work, but from maintaining pretense. Her phone buzzes. Another message from General Hayes, this time with an attachment, a photo from Stone Bay, 2009. Ellen teaching a class of MARSOC candidates. Peterson visible in the front row, young and eager. They need you back. These kids are losing edge without proper instruction. She deletes it. Peterson appears in the doorway, moving carefully like his body still aches from the morphine incident. Ellen, can we talk? 2 minutes. He sits across from her, challenge a coin spinning between his fingers. I remember that class now. You made us stay in position for 36 hours. No movement except breathing. Said real sniping was about patience, not killing. And? Jenkins quit after 20 hours. Said it was torture. You told him combat doesn't care about comfort. Ellen pours coffee, offers him a cup. He accepts. Jenkins died in Mosul 3 years later, Peterson continues. Abandoned his position because he got uncomfortable. Insurgent sniper got him and 2 others. I know. I read all my students' after-action reports. All of them? There were hundreds. 643, 71 killed in action, 130 wounded, 40 medical discharges, the rest still serving or honorably discharged. Peterson stares. You track them all? An instructor's responsibility doesn't end at graduation. Is that why you're here, watching over Rodriguez's daughter? Ellen's silence is answer enough. She doesn't know, does she? Her father died because I made a tactical decision. I chose to maintain overwatch on the primary extraction route instead of covering his position. Command agreed it was correct. 17 Marines made it out because I held that route. But Rodriguez died. That's war. You know that. I know that decisions have consequences. His daughter becoming a corpsman is one consequence. My being here is another. Peterson sets down his cup. The Navy wants to review what happened. The expired meds. My team's performance. Everything. Tell the truth. You made a mistake trying to improve. Better than making mistakes from arrogance. Will you be there at the hearing? If ordered. I'm asking. Ellen considers. 0900 tomorrow? Yes, ma'am. He leaves. Ellen returns to her rounds, checking patients, adjusting medications, pretending her world hasn't shifted off its axis. At 0400, she finds Thompson cleaning the memorial wall. Saw Maria Rodriguez earlier, he says without preamble. Girl's got her father's eyes. And his stubbornness. You planning to tell her? Tell her what? That I chose 17 Marines over her father? That I listened to him die over comms while maintaining position? That I have his last words recorded on my scope camera because I couldn't break position to help him? Thompson stops cleaning. What were his last words? Tell Maria I'm proud of her. The silence stretches. Thompson resumes cleaning, gentler now. She deserves to know her father's last thoughts were of her. She knows he loved her. That's enough. Is it? Or is that what you tell yourself? Ellen doesn't answer, can't answer, because the truth is complicated. Rodriguez would have made the same choice, would have wanted those 17 Marines saved, but that doesn't make facing his daughter easier. The sunrise comes at 0630, painting the hospital in gold and shadow. Ellen's shift ends, but she doesn't leave. The hearing is in 3 hours. She changes into civilian clothes, khakis and a button-down shirt. Professional, but unremarkable. The conference room fills with brass. Admirals, captains, commanders. Peterson's team sits at one table looking like schoolboys called to the principal's office. Ellen sits in the back, unnoticed until Ward points her out. Gunnery Sergeant Reeves is here as medical consultant. Admiral Chen, a stern woman with submarine warfare pins, reviews the file. Gunnery Sergeant Reeves, Ghost 7, 63 confirmed kills, instructor rating at Stone Bay, medical discharge following Kandahar incident. She looks up. Impressive record for someone now working night shifts. I'm a civilian now, Admiral. Just here to help explain the medical situation. Explain then? Ellen stands, moves to the front without hesitation. Old habits, briefing senior officers comes back like muscle memory. Expired morphine undergoes chemical degradation. Depending on storage conditions, it can produce compounds that cause respiratory depression, renal failure, and anaphylactic shock. SEAL Team 4 accessed improperly stored expired medications and self-administered without medical supervision. Why would they do something so stupid? Admiral Chen asks. Peterson stands. Because we were trying to improve, ma'am. After Gunnery Sergeant Reeves exposed our medical response failures, we wanted to train more. We just chose poorly. Chose illegally, Chen corrects. Accessing disposed medications is theft of government property. Santos, pale but present, speaks up. Ma'am, I take full responsibility. I suggested using the expired meds. Said they were only a month past date, should be fine. Ellen interjects. Morphine degradation isn't linear. 1 month in improper storage can equal 6 months in proper conditions. The storage unit they accessed had temperature fluctuations. I've reviewed the logs. And you saved them, again. Chen's tone is unreadable. Seems to be a pattern. I'm a nurse. Saving people is my job. Your job was killing people, quite effectively, according to records. The room tenses. Ellen remains calm. My job was protecting Marines. Sometimes that meant killing enemies. Sometimes it means saving idiots who poison themselves trying to improve. A few chuckles ripple through the room. Chen doesn't smile. Peterson, your team is grounded pending investigation. However, given the circumstances, attempting improvement rather than negligence, punishment will be administrative, not criminal. Relief floods Peterson's face. Chen continues. You'll complete 100 hours additional medical training under Gunnery Sergeant Reeves's supervision. Ellen stiffens. Admiral, I'm not military anymore, but you're qualified, and apparently the only person these SEALs respect enough to learn from. Ward adds. The hospital approves. Paid instructor position, temporary duty. Ellen wants to refuse but sees Maria Rodriguez through the window, walking past in her corpsman uniform. The debt to her father isn't paid. May never be paid. I'll do it. The hearing adjourns. Peterson approaches Ellen immediately. Thank you. We won't waste this chance. You'll show up prepared. 0600, Building 7, Training Room 3. Yes, ma'am. As the room empties, Admiral Chen stops Ellen. I knew Rodriguez, good Marine, better father. Ellen freezes. His daughter's here, isn't she? Corporal Rodriguez? Yes, Admiral. He'd approve of what you're doing, watching over her without her knowing. It's what he would have wanted. You knew him well? He saved my nephew in Fallujah before he became your spotter. Chen pauses. His death wasn't your failure, Gunny. The IED was, the triggerman was, the war was, but not you. She leaves before Ellen can respond. The next weeks establish a routine. Night shifts at the hospital, morning training with Peterson's team, afternoon sleep when possible. The SEALs prove eager students, their arrogance replaced with genuine desire to improve. Santos especially throws himself into training, perhaps guilt driving him harder than the others. Why combat medicine? He asks during a particularly intense trauma simulation. You were a sniper. Different world. Not really. Both require precision under pressure. Both involve making immediate decisions that determine who lives. The only difference is distance. She teaches them things no manual covers. How to triage when everyone seems critical. How to maintain calm when your friend is dying in your hands. How to make peace with the ones you can't save. The dead don't haunt you because you failed, she tells them during a break. They haunt you because you survived. That's the difference. Guilt versus grief. Learn to recognize which you are carrying. Williams raises his hand. Which do you carry? Both, every day. Her honesty surprises them. Military culture rarely admits vulnerability. Maria Rodriguez starts appearing at the training sessions, officially observing for her own education. Ellen maintains professional distance, but occasionally catches herself using phrases Rodriguez used, his way of explaining wind reading, his method of calculating distance. Maria notices. You sound like someone I knew once, she says after one session. Most military instructors sound similar, same training. No, specifically like, never mind. Maria shakes her head. Stupid thought. But Ellen sees the wheels turning, the connections forming. Smart girl, like her father. One evening, Thompson corners Ellen in the supply room. Rivera's been asking questions. NCIS agent. Seems real interested in why you're here. Let him ask. He's looking into Kandahar, the classified parts. Ellen stops inventorying. How classified? The part where you took out a Taliban commander who wasn't supposed to be there. The one CIA was supposedly negotiating with. That's sealed. SEALs leak, always have. Thompson leans closer. Word is someone wants to know if you knew he was off limits when you took the shot. Ellen's mind races back to that day. The Taliban commander moving toward Rodriguez's position. The shot perfectly aligned. The trigger squeeze. The confirmation of hit. Then the encrypted radio explosion demanding to know who fired. I identified a threat to friendlies and engaged. Rules of engagement were clear. CIA didn't see it that way. CIA wasn't watching their asset walk toward my spotter with a weapon. Thompson nods. Just watch your six. Rivera's not the only one asking questions. That night, Ellen notices a car following her home. Not obviously. Professional tail, staying 3 cars back, switching positions. She takes extra turns, confirms surveillance, then drives normally. Let them follow. She has nothing to hide. Her apartment is how she left it. 3 locks secured, windows undisturbed, but someone's been inside. Subtle signs, a drawer closed not quite how she left it, dust patterns disturbed on the bookshelf. Professional search, but not professional enough. She checks her emergency bag, still hidden, untouched. The important things remain secret. Her phone rings, unknown number. Gunnery Sergeant Reeves? Who's asking? Someone who knows what really happened in Kandahar. We should talk. Not interested. Rodriguez's daughter is. Ellen's blood freezes. If you go near her, relax, Ghost 7. I'm not threatening, just suggesting that some secrets are better revealed by friends than enemies. The line goes dead. Ellen sits in darkness, weighing options. 7 years of hiding might be ending. The question is whether she controls the ending or someone else does. At her next shift, Maria Rodriguez appears at the nurse's station. Can we talk, privately? Ellen leads her to an empty exam room. Maria pulls out a tablet, shows a photo. It's from Afghanistan. Ellen and Rodriguez in their sniper spotter position, barely visible even knowing where to look. I found this in my dad's effects. Finally got his personal items released from classified storage. Maria zooms in on Ellen's partially visible face. That's you. Ellen considers denying it, considers lying. But Rodriguez died for truth. His daughter deserves the same. Yes. Maria's composure cracks slightly, then reforms, Marine training holding her together. You were Ghost 7, his sniper. Yes. You tried to save him. I failed to save him. Maria shakes her head. 17 confirmed kills in 6 minutes trying to reach him. That's not failure. That's incredible. Incredible would have been 18 kills and your father alive. They sit in silence. Maria processes. Ellen remembers. Finally, Maria speaks. Tell me about him, the real him, not the Marine Corps sanitized version. So Ellen does. And stories about Rodriguez's terrible jokes during 30-hour overwatches. His ability to calculate wind by watching dust patterns, how he carried pictures of Maria and her siblings, talked about them constantly. He was proud of you, especially you, said you were going to be a doctor. Corpsman was closer than I could get. Academic scholarships only go so far. I know. Maria's eyes narrow. The anonymous payments on my loans. That's you. My father would have wanted me to know who was helping. Maria stands, paces. 7 years? You've been here 7 years watching over me. I've been here working. Watching over you was additional. Because you feel guilty. Because I owe a debt. Maria turns on her. You owe nothing. Dad died doing his job. You did yours. That's how war works. You sound like him. Good. Then maybe you'll listen. Maria sits again, closer this time. I need to know something. His last words. Were you recording? Ellen pulls out her phone, navigates to a hidden folder. The file is there. Audio from her scope camera, never deleted, never shared. She hits play. Rodriguez's voice fills the room, strained but clear. Tell Maria I'm proud of her. Tell her to be better than us. Tell her... Static. Explosion. Then Ellen's voice, controlled but breaking. Rodriguez down. 17 targets engage, requesting immediate CASEVAC. Maria cries silently. Ellen doesn't move, doesn't comfort. Some moments belong to the grieving alone. When Maria composes herself, she stands. Thank you for the truth, for the loans, for everything. Maria, I'm going to finish my medical training, become the doctor Dad wanted. Then I'm going to save lives like you tried to save his. She pauses at the door. And Gunny, stop carrying his death. Carry his life instead. She leaves. Ellen sits alone, feeling something shift in her chest. Not healing, too much scar tissue for that, but maybe the beginning of peace. Rivera appears an hour later, badge visible, authority worn like armor. We need to discuss Kandahar. No, we don't. The Taliban commander you killed was moving to execute a wounded Marine, my spotter. Was a CIA asset. Was a threat. Ellen continues working, not giving Rivera the satisfaction of her full attention. ROE was clear. Positively identified enemy combatant with weapon moving toward friendlies. Engagement authorized. Some people think you knew he was protected. Some people think wrong. Rivera leans closer. This could get complicated. Ellen finally looks at him. Really looks. And Rivera takes an involuntary step back from what he sees in her eyes. Agent Rivera, I've killed 63 confirmed enemies and probably 40 more unconfirmed. I've saved hundreds of Marines through precision fire and dozens more through medical intervention. If the CIA wants to prosecute me for saving American lives, they're welcome to try. That's not... But understand this. I have scope footage of that commander carrying a weapon toward wounded Marines. I have radio logs of CIA failing to notify ground units of protected personnel. I have 18 witnesses who saw him approaching with hostile intent. So, ask yourself, does the agency really want that public? Rivera closes his notebook. You've thought this through. I've had 7 years to think. He leaves without another word. That night, Ellen's apartment feels less empty. Mariah's forgiveness, or understanding at least, has lifted weight she didn't realize she was carrying. She pulls out the photo Thompson saw earlier, her and Rodriguez laughing, and for the first time in years, she smiles at it. Her phone buzzes, Peterson texting. Training at 0600 tomorrow? She responds. Affirmative. Bring coffee. Another text, this one from Maria. Would Dad have liked that I became a corpsman instead of a doctor? Ellen types carefully. Your dad would have been proud you chose to serve others. The title doesn't matter. The service does. 3 dots appear, showing Maria typing. Then, Uncle Roy, Thompson, told me you were the best sniper instructor MARSOC ever had. Would you teach me to shoot? Not to kill. just to understand what Dad did. Ellen stares at the request. Teaching Maria would close a circle she's not sure should be closed. But Rodriguez would want his daughter trained properly if she's going to learn. Saturday, 0700, range 6. Thank you, Gunny. Ellen sets down the phone and walks to her window. The base spreads out below, lights marking where Marines work through the night. Somewhere out there, Peterson's team is probably studying medical protocols. Maria is likely reviewing her corpsman training. Thompson is cleaning floors and keeping secrets. 7 years of hiding in plain sight might be ending. But maybe that's okay. Maybe it's time to stop being a ghost. The next morning arrives with unusual clarity. Ellen wakes at 0530, no alarm needed. Coffee brewing, she reviews training plans for Peterson's team. Today they're covering mass casualty events. Fitting, given how this all started. She arrives at the training room to find not just Peterson's team, but Maria, Thompson, Ward, and surprisingly, Admiral Chen. Gunny, Chen greets her. Heard you're teaching again. Small class, Admiral. Good instructors attract students. Chen gestures to the room. Mind if we observe? Ellen recognizes an order disguised as a request. Not at all. She begins with basics, even though most present know them. Foundation matters. Rodriguez taught her that. Never assume knowledge, always verify understanding. Triage isn't about saving everyone, she starts. It's about saving the most. That means making decisions that will haunt you. Accept that now or find different work. Santos raises his hand. How do you decide who's expectant? Experience, mathematics, and sometimes gut instinct. Ellen pulls up a scenario on the screen. 8 casualties, 3 immediate, 3 delayed, 2 expectant. You have resources for 4. Sources for choose. The SEALs debate. Maria watches silently. Thompson nods like he's seen this before. Probably has in his own war. Peterson finally speaks. The 3 immediate and 1 delayed with best survival chance. Why not 2 delayed instead of 1? Resource allocation. 1 immediate takes more resources than 2 delayed, but has better outcome probability. Good. Now, Ellen changes the slide. Same scenario, but 1 immediate is your best friend. 1 expectant is a child. Choose again. The room goes quiet. Williams speaks first. Medicine doesn't account for emotion, but humans do. You'll face this. Better to confront it here than when lives hang on your decision. Maria interjects. You save who you can save. Emotion is luxury we can't afford in that moment. Ellen looks at her, so much like Rodriguez, practical and philosophical in equal measure. Your father would have said the same. He did, in letters home. The training continues for 2 hours. Practical scenarios, hands-on practice, difficult decisions discussed openly. Admiral Chen observes everything, making notes on a tablet. Finally, Chen stands. Gunnery Sergeant Reeves, walk with me. They leave together, walking toward the base cemetery. Ellen knows what's coming. NCIS briefed me on the Kandahar situation, Chen says. Admiral, the matter is closed, permanently. Some phone calls were made. Some reminders about operational security were delivered. Agent Rivera has been reassigned to investigate mess hall food quality in Guam. Ellen almost smiles. Thank you, Admiral. Don't thank me. Thank whoever made sure that scope footage found its way to the right senators. Chen gives her a knowing look. Interesting how classified files sometimes appear right when needed. They reach the cemetery. Chen stops at a specific grave, newer than most, well-maintained. Master Chief Williams, Ellen reads, the SEAL you couldn't save in Kandahar, Peterson's mentor. I didn't know he was Peterson's. Small community, the teams. Everyone connects somehow. Chen touches the headstone gently. His widow asked me to give you something if we ever met. She hands Ellen an envelope, worn from years of waiting. Inside is a simple note. Thank you for trying. Thank you for killing those who killed him. Rest easy, Ghost 7. Sarah Williams. Ellen's throat tightens. Another Sarah, another widow, another weight lifted. She knew? Ellen asks. Wives always know, even the classified parts. Chen starts walking again. The offer stands, by the way. Medical training contract, full-time, your own curriculum. I have a job. Night shift nursing? It's honest work. So is teaching SEALs not to be idiots. Ellen considers. Part-time, I keep my nursing shifts. Deal. Chen extends her hand. They shake, firm, and professional. That evening, Ellen's final night shift feels different. Not an ending, but a transition. She completes her rounds, helps with 2 emergencies, teaches a young corpsman better IV technique. At 0400, she finds Peterson's team in the break room, the same place where this started. They're studying medical texts, coffee cold, commitment clear. "Don't you have morning PT?" she asks. "Canceled it," Peterson says. "This is more important." She pours fresh coffee for everyone, sits with them. No rank, no history, just medical professionals preparing for the worst. Thompson appears at 0500. "Heard you're going official, teaching again. Part-time. Rodriguez would be proud." Rodriguez would laugh at SEALs needing a Marine to teach them medicine. That too. As her shift ends, Ellen walks through the hospital one more time. The memorial wall holds more photos now. 7 years of losses, 7 years of sacrifice. She touches Rodriguez's photo once more. "Debt's not paid," she whispers. "But I'm working on it." Outside, dawn breaks over the base. Marines run PT in formation, voices carrying in cadence. The flag rises with morning colors. Life continues its rhythm, military precision mixed with human chaos. Ellen drives home past the training center where she'll teach tomorrow, past the range where she'll train Maria on Saturday, past the graves of those she couldn't save, and the buildings full of those she can. Her phone buzzes, message from Maria. "Dad wrote about dawn in Afghanistan, said it was the sniper's favorite time. Everything visible but nothing certain." "I get it now." Ellen responds, "Your father was a poet hiding as a Marine. Maybe that's why he paired well with a ghost hiding as a guardian." Ellen stops at a red light, considers the truth in that statement. She's been hiding for 7 years, but maybe she was also standing watch, protecting what remained of Rodriguez's legacy. The light turns green. She drives forward into a future that's no longer about hiding. That night, her first night off in months, she sits on her apartment balcony and cleans her personal sidearm. Not from paranoia or preparation, but ritual. The movements calm her like meditation. Her phone rings. General Hayes again. This time, she answers. "I heard you're teaching again," he says without preamble. "Part-time, medical only." It's a start. Ghost 7 returning to the light. "I was never gone, General, just repositioned," he chuckles. "Once a sniper, always a sniper, even when healing instead of hunting. Sometimes they're the same thing. Rodriguez would be proud of what you've become. Rodriguez would tell me to stop living in the past and focus on the next target." "And what's the next target?" Ellen looks at the base lights below. "Same as always, sir. Keeping Marines alive. Good hunting, Ghost 7. It's just Ellen now." "No," Hayes says firmly. "It's both. The ghost who teaches, the nurse who kills, the guardian who hides. You don't have to choose anymore." He hangs up. Ellen sits with that truth. She doesn't have to choose. Can be all her pieces simultaneously. Instructor, nurse, guardian, ghost. Her door buzzer sounds, unusual for this hour. Camera shows Peterson, Santos, Williams, Johnson, and Maria standing outside. She lets them in. "It's 0200, she observes. "We know," Peterson says, "but we figured you'd be awake." "And we have a question," Santos adds. Maria steps forward. "Will you tell us about Rodriguez, the real stories?" Ellen looks at them, these young warriors trying to understand something beyond warfare. She gestures to her living room. Coffee first, then stories. They settle in, and Ellen begins talking about Rodriguez's laugh, his terrible singing, how he could predict rain by the way insects moved, how he saved her life not through combat, but through conversation during those long overwatches. He said snipers were like emergency room doctors, she tells them. "We both deal with critical moments where seconds matter. Both require absolute precision. Both carry the weight of lives depending on our skill." "Is that why you became a nurse?" Maria asks. "I became a nurse because I needed to balance the scales. 63 confirmed kills required at least that many saves." "Have you?" Williams asks. "Saved that many?" Ellen calculates. 7 years, countless shifts, multiple emergencies. "I've lost count," which probably means yes. They talk until dawn, these warriors and their guardian ghost. About war and peace, about saving and killing, about the weight of both. As they prepare to leave, Peterson stops at her door. "Thank you for everything." the training, the honesty, the second chances. Thank you for reminding me that teaching is another form of service. He hands her something, a new challenge coin. SEAL Team 4 on one side, on the other an inscription. Ghost 7, always watching. Ellen accepts it, adds it to her collection. Another unit, another connection, another reason to continue. After they leave, she stands at her window, watching the base wake up. In a few hours, she'll teach Peterson's team advanced trauma response. Saturday, she'll show Maria the basics of marksmanship, not to make her a killer, but to understand her father's world. Tonight, she'll return to her nursing shift. Tomorrow, more training. An endless cycle of teaching and healing, watching and waiting. The ghost is no longer hiding, but she's still watching, still protecting, still honoring a promise made to a dying friend to look after what mattered most. Rodriguez would approve. In the end, that's all that matters. Her phone buzzes one last time. Unknown number, but she recognizes the format. Military encrypted. Welcome back to the light, Ghost 7. The community remembers. The community is grateful. Semper Fi. She doesn't respond. Doesn't need to. Actions have always spoken louder than words for her. The message deletes automatically after 30 seconds. Standard protocol for encrypted communications. But the words remain, etched somewhere deeper than memory. The sun rises fully now, painting her apartment gold. Light catches the dust motes floating through air, each one dancing in patterns that remind her of sand particles in Afghan wind. How Rodriguez could read them, predict weather changes 12 hours out. Time to sleep. Tomorrow, tonight, technically, she has work to do. Lives to save, not through crosshairs anymore, but through gentle hands checking vitals, adjusting IV drips, catching medical errors before they become casualties. Students to teach, young SEALs learning that strength includes knowing when to ask for help, young corpsmen understanding that precision matters whether holding a rifle or a syringe. Promises to keep, some spoken aloud in desert wind, others made in silence to photographs of the fallen. The ghost watches from her apartment window as morning PT formations move across the base like synchronized clockwork. The Guardian serves in ways both visible and hidden, her presence felt in saved lives and changed perspectives. The instructor shapes the next generation, passing on lessons written in scars and memories, teaching them to be better than those who came before. Ellen Reeves, Gunnery Sergeant, Ghost 7, Night Nurse, all the same person, no longer fractured but woven together like fibers in a rope, each strand strengthening the whole. Finally whole. She closes her eyes and for the first time in 7 years, sleeps without dreams of crosshairs and calculations. Only peace, only purpose, only the quiet satisfaction of debts being paid through service.
These stories end here, but the journey continues. Many new episodes are waiting for you, and